direct fire phase. Yes, you have some direct fire coming at you. Here's the bad news. You still don't see who's doing it. 60mm mortars just landed from somewhere. So what this tells you as a player is that at least one of these black stacks of units that has line of sight on Captain Morgan's hex is a real person. And at least one of them has an officer. Because he's calling in indirect fire from somewhere on the table. You do not have line of sight on the actual firing hex. The firing hex, however, does have range. Yes, he does. Does have range. So he is dropping a 6-point mortar strike on your position. So 6-point
So
mortar.
I have to ask, do you have line of sight with even with me in the woods?
Yes. You can
Okay.
see. You can see into a woods hex. You cannot see through a woods hex.
Okay.
So like I was saying before, K9 can totally see Dearborn. I have to add 2 to my dice roll. It's just like when you were shooting at my guys up here in the woods on H4. I have to add 2 to my dice roll. Now what you can't do is you can't see through a woods hex. So like, super fast example, this unit can see Dearborn, he cannot see that medic.
Gotcha.
He's now looking through a woods hex. However, it is still a +2 to the roll. So I see him in there. I call in the mortar strike. There is an officer with the mortar. That's a -1 officer. However, I have to add 2 for wood, so it's a net add 2 to the die roll. The light mortar, it's only it's a captured 60mm mortar, so it's only a 6-point strike. And I have to add 1 to my die roll. And I roll a natural 5, which becomes a 6. That is 2 casualty points on your platoon. Okay, so there's different ways to assess casualty points. Again, casualty points are the last number on the counter. A 1, a 3, or a 6. Okay? You have to somehow pay for 2 casualty points. The quickest way to pay for casualty points is to eliminate a unit. So he's worth 3. If you eliminated him, you would settle a bill. And yes, sometimes you do have to overpay. It's just the way the change works out, so to speak. You can knock down this full squad to a half squad, because then I would eliminate that counter and bring in a second one of those counters. Your casualty rating went from a 6 to a 3 in that case. Again, that settles the bill. Or you can pin down units instead. Every unit that gets pinned down counts as 1 casualty point. This is one area where you like to split up your squads, because a squad, like right now, if you pin down this squad, that's a casualty point. If that squad was 2 half squads and you pinned it down, it would be 2 casualty points. That's the game telling you that as your unit spreads out and breaks into constituent fire teams, they become spongier when it comes time to actually assessing casualties.
Sure.
So
I gotcha.
basically, you got to assess 2 casualty points.
Pin him.
All right. So are we pinning? I'm assuming we're pinning the half squad. Okay. Are
Yes.
we going to go ahead and pin the full squad or the officer?
The full squad.
Okay, that was the correct answer. And some people are like, why are you pinning down that huge unit? He's worth 12, he's worth 2. Because when it comes time to rally, that +2 gets to assess. When the officer is not pinned, he helps everybody else get unpinned faster. Okay, so that was my only direct fire phase. So somebody can see you, Mr. Morgan. Somebody's watching. Now it's time for movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 12 NVA regulars are coming out of the brush at Lieutenant Hercules' position. One of them is carrying an RPG. Okay. Now you do get opportunity fire. Because, I mean, when they enter Hex I-1, they are technically adjacent, and that means that they're instantly spotted, and they're going to assault. Okay, so Mr. Herkimer has a 2. He has a full squad in there, that's 12, that gives you 14. And somebody in there is carrying a law. So that adds 5. The law is a 1-shot, 1-kill weapon. Once you use it, it's discarded. That's what the X means. The black.
Yep.
Yeah, so you fire it once and it's done. I think now would be the time to use it, though.
I would agree.
Okay, cool. So that is grand total of 2 plus 12 is 14, 19 points. You get to subtract 1 from your die roll because you have an officer in there. You have to add 2 to me because I'm in woods. However, point blank opportunity fire always gets a -2 bonus because it's
So I'm
point
looking at
blank.
-1.
Yeah, because it's always, obviously it's point blank, but more importantly, I am rushing straight toward you. So that's not even my rule. That's right out of the book.
Yeah.
So it's a total of -3 plus 2 equals a grand total of -1. And yeah, now would be a good time to roll pretty good.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 5.
A 5
So 4.
becomes an adjusted 4. You may have broken up this assault before it even did. 5 becomes an adjusted 4. What do we say? You had 19?
Yes.
You're barely on the blue column. That's 6 casualty points. Oh my god, there's only 6 casualty points in the stack.
Woo!
Damn it. Oh, this game's gonna be a slaughter. Boom. Okay.
Oh, you get rid of the law rocket, right,
Oh
Jim?
yeah, it's true. Yeah, the law rocket is expended.
Yep.
Okay, American turn 3. These guys are going to go ahead and rally. This is the beginning of your turn.
Yep.
And any squads you want to split up or combine or anything?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time.
So that's going to conclude command phase. Command phase is going to go pretty quick in these games because we don't have any offboard assets.
Yeah.
And then we go to fire phase. You don't have much of a fire phase because you killed everybody that you could see. Again.
Yeah.
Special forces, man.
So movement. Can you move? Can you zoom out the map for me, please?
Sure.
That's good.
That should be the whole map. There we go. Once it reappears.
Ooh, shoot. Oh, it's behind the hill. Can you move the Kiwi that's in November 1 to Herkimer's location?
Okay.
And he will go nap of Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what altitude he was at, but just for argument's sake.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's
And
napping
then
the Earth except for this gunship.
oh, that's right. He's still high altitude. Speaking of which, can you move the gunship
Yep.
to J4, Juliet 4, and make him low altitude? And then let's move the other Hueys. Can you put the Huey in Lima 4 into Juliet 2? And then Papa 5 into India 2.
Here's right out of Valkyries up here.
And then Quebec 5 into Hotel 2. And then we're going to move Captain Morgan into Juliet 5. Let me see, let me count. So it's going to be 2 across the stream, right?
So Juliet 5, yeah, so it's going to be 2 across the stream.
2
1,
into the
2,
woods.
And then 3 into the woods because he's also going up a hill.
Oh, a hill. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll end his movement then. Okay, Juliet 5.
Oh man, what should I do? You know what? Okay.
And then Lieutenant Green.
Yep.
Move him directly south to Lima 6. Dearborn. 2, 4. Can you move him into November 9? So, yep, Oscar 9 to November 9.
He's really Kilo 9 and Kilo 10. All right.
Now, can he see him because he's on the downslope?
No, because now you're hidden, but while you were in Oscar 9, you were way open.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, where you are now, you're safe. But
Okay.
opportunity fire takes place during enemy movement. You can
Yeah.
interrupt enemy movement and take a shot.
Sure, I gotcha.
And to answer your question, November 9, you're invisible.
Okay.
But in Oscar 9, you were
On the same level,
swinging in the
essentially.
breeze and in the open
Yeah. Okay.
and moving. But when you're playing. When you're playing the regular army in these asymmetrical games, the Israelis, the British, the Americans in Vietnam, you got to be. It's all about casualty management. I mean, if you even take like 2 casualties, you're wow, that's a big score. You have to be really careful, and then you have to evacuate them off the board, or else there's bleed out rules and everything else. When you're playing the irregular forces, there's chances where, like, Stacks could have blasted at Morgan, who was crossing that creek. 09. You know what? It's almost better to make you assault me. Kick down the door or jump into my slit trench and get up into a knife fight. That's when all of your advantages start to melt away.
Right.
I'm an elite trooper. I can snipe you out from 500 yards. Well, why am I going to fight you at 500 yards then? Come fight me in fist fight range when I have 10,000 of my buddies with me. In the middle of my tiger traps. Speaking of tiger traps, please, Mr. Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Now, hold on. Mr. Morgan was here. 1, 2. All right, so he had to use full movement.
I got a 5.
Okay, he's good. Dearborn used only 3 points. 1, and then 2, 3. So he can use his assault movement. He has to roll a 12 to hit a booby trap.
5.
Cool. And then we have Green's platoon. Also only spent 2 movement points. He has to roll a 12.
9.
Cool, you're good. That's going to move over to NBA turn 3. Alright, so if I do nothing, you're going to take at least 2 objective X's. You have to take 4 to win.
Yeah.
So you still have to come to me. So
Yeah.
I can afford to be patient. And the game is half over. Not trying to say that you're being too cautious or anything. I'm not trying to get in your head. No, not at all. No, seriously.
No, not at all.
It's actually, I mean, for a first-time player, this has been great. I mean, God, I've lost 5 halves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half squads and an officer so far. So there's 16 casualties, 17 casualties. Call it 5 dead and a bunch of wounded. NBA fire phase. Oh yes, a little bit. More mortar fire coming down on the same hex that Mr. Morgan was in. Ironically, I can no longer see Morgan, but Herkimer was nice enough to move into the same hex. Or not Herkimer, what is that? That's green. -1 for my commander, +2 for Woods. So it's add 1. Oh, that's terrible. Alright, that was no effect. That's not worthy of Alright, I'm pretty much giving up these 2 objective X's. This objective X was defended, but they impaled themselves on Herkimer squad. Advance in the assault phase, so I want to move any more 1 hexes. No, I think I'm good. Actually, I take that back. This guy is right out in the open, and there are too many helicopters flying around. Will you please get into the jungle? Welcome to the jungle. There's American helicopters flying around. Get under cover, you dumbass, before you get yourself spotted. Alright. That concludes the musical interlude of our terrible game. Alright. We just lost all our viewers. So, that's going to be it for my movement phase. I don't have any really command phase. We begin American turn 4. Second half of the game. So we go to direct fire phase.
I have no targets.
However, direct fire phase here is where we make spotting checks. If you have, I'm assuming all helicopters are nap of the earth.
Yep.
This is where that trade-off happens. If you're nap of the Earth, you have to have line of sight on the hex you want to make the spotting check on.
Right.
You're down in the terrain. Terrain becomes the thing. If you're at high
Right.
altitude, then obviously terrain is not a thing. So everyone's nap of the Earth. Where is your fourth helicopter? Oh yeah, so this guy can see nothing, see nothing, see nothing, see nothing. This guy is nap of the Earth because he just landed troops. He could potentially see K9 because he sees right over these woods, and now he sees into these woods, and he's on level 2, and you're on actually level 3. So you can see that hex, you can see this hex, because he's on elevated position. Basically, yeah, wherever you want to try and spot a unit in G8, or do you want to try and spot a unit in K9, and then try to roll...
K9.
Okay, then you're trying to roll a 6 on 1d6.
Okay.
It is a long shot.
4.
Okay. So what some players do is once their helicopters have landed all their troops, they'll back off to where they're just pretty much out of range, like 6 hexes, and then they'll just put all their helicopters up to high altitude, and now it's like I get 4 free spotting checks a turn.
Yeah, that's no fun. Can you load up Lieutenant Herkimer into that Huey?
Yep, he is. Yep, he's in there.
Okay.
And now that Huey can move normally.
Move it to Delta 1.
Ooh, there he goes.
Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back because he can't land there because obviously he would be...
Oh, yeah.
Can you move him to... Is that Delta 0?
Yeah.
Is that a usable hex?
Yep, it's a half hex. You can play in half hexes.
Okay.
Yep. Look at Gianna getting all air mobile on me. Picking up troops in the middle of the game. Usually helicopters, they come in, they drop troops, and then they do something else.
Actually, I know where I want. My screen just timed out. Quebec 10.
Quebec 10. Quebec 10, gotcha. Oh, there you go. That's totally legal.
And then if you can move Lieutenant Dearborn to Quebec 10. Okay, so Clark is going to move into Gulf 5.
Getting those hooches. Okay, super fast. Clark had to spend 4 movement points. He has an 11 or 12 booby trap check.
I have Snake Eyes.
Ooh, nice. So, that concludes movement. Now comes to my defensive fire. Dropping more mortars for sure. Do I want to drop anything else? You know what, I'm going to drop the mortars, see how they do. And if they actually pin down some forces, then I'm going to put more gunfire into the hex in the hopes of actually killing somebody.
Okay.
So the NBA
sounds like a plan.
The NBA is going to lose the battle. It's whether or not I lose the game. So I want to at least cause someone to bleed a little bit. God damn. 6 points net +1 on Morgan's platoon. Now with a 9, that becomes a 10. That's no effect. Doesn't help that I can't roll for sure. Alright. I honestly don't...
Actually...
Oh, these guys who just debarked from this helicopter, maybe.
Yep. Yes, they have. So, can you move them to Delta 1?
First objective hex taken. We have this road, sir. They're not getting any more supplies from Laos from that street. Oh, shit. You said this helicopter was at high altitude, right?
Yes.
He saw those mortars fire.
Aw, that's a shame.
I have eyes on a tango. Yep, that is a 60mm mortar pit. That's just been shelling the hell out of your guys in the center there.
I see how that is.
So far, we haven't really done anything, though. Which is a little disappointing. Okay, so we begin with your command phase, but nobody's pinned.
Right. I'm not going to split anybody off at this point. So I have no target. Well, I have one target.
Oh, yeah, we go to direct fire phase, yep. And
Yeah,
it is
well, I want to spot first
Okay,
before I fire.
okay,
So my gunship is going to attempt to spot the D4.
okay,
So I got to roll a 6, right?
yep. On
One
1d6.
die.
Yep.
Okay. A 6!
Oh no! Alright, I have to reveal one of these units. What is in there? I don't remember, actually. Actually, that's not true. There we go. A half squad is carrying a PKM. You do see there are at least some real people there.
Okay.
I
Oi.
got movement in the hooches.
So do I fire on them, or do I fire on the mortar team?
Well, I mean, you already know this, but now that those units are revealed, everybody can see them. So what the gunship did was he threw a couple tracers into that hooch, and he's like, there's your target.
Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and fire upon the mortar team.
Okay, fire on the mortar team. The mortar team has 6 with frontal guns, because your 18 rockets are spent, and 5 for your door-mounted guns, so it's a grand total of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're barely in range, so it's really just machine guns. So you got a grand total of 11 points. You have to add 2 to your die roll for my
We'll give it a
wounds.
shot, see what happens. Not gonna happen. I got an 8. Yep.
And we actually dodged that one for a change.
Yep.
See that the Americans don't always kill. So far, the only time
Not
you shot at
always.
me, everything has died. My guys are all scared.
However, I do have direct fire from Sergeant Clark to the village.
So that's a grand total of 11 points. He has to subtract 1 for his command bonus, and he has to add 2 for my hooches. So it's 11, and he has to net add 1 to his die roll.
11.
11. Oh, by the way, if you ever roll a natural 12, please tell me. A natural 12, or if I roll a natural 12, that's when a sniper appears for the other side.
Oh.
The other side gets a sniper, and he appears like magic. And that's when things get nasty. Alright. So apparently Clark has been hitting the Captain Morgans.
I really want to be crazy, but that would give you points, and I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. So I am going to stand pat.
No worries.
On to you.
Yeah, on to me. NBA number 5. You've got 1. You're going to go for this one, this one, this one with helicopters. Well, you know what? Let me do the turn in order. Let me stick to the turn sequence. Mortars, damn it! You gotta do something for me sooner or later. I say mortars like there's more than one. I only have 1 mortar. Come on, mortar team, drop something on somebody for the love of God. Here we go. God damn it, with an 8. Can't buy a break with this mortar. You know what? Go ahead and blow him up because. He's not doing me any damn good. I'm already kind of gaming this out in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mortars, you suck. You know what? These clowns are spotted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a full squad in there too. Oh boy. Oh, sweet mother of God. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Damn you. Oh. Clark is in so much trouble, he just doesn't know it.
Okay.
But I don't know if I want to do that.
Go right ahead.
Wait, that 1 stack's definitely going to fire. You know what? We're going to see how that fire goes. If that fire goes really well, something else might really, really bad happen to him. He's not in the open. He's in hooches. Okay, that
Right.
okay. That makes it a little bit easier for me to make up my mind as far as what to do. That's going to make you a little bit of a tougher nut to crack. There's a big force in here. Full squad 9, half squad 5, half squad 19, 22 points. Coming straight up the hill. There's no officer in there though. That's my only bad thing. So it's 22 points. I have to add 2 for the hooches. I'm on the blue table. Come on, dice, give me a break. This stream's becoming
Cars. Boxcars.
The stream's becoming boring. A 7, that's middle of the road. I'll take it. 7 becomes a 9. That's literally 1 casualty. God bless.
Oh no.
Yeah, I literally didn't even kill anybody.
How about you pin somebody?
Yep, you've only got 1 half squad in there, and he's carrying the light machine gun.
Yep.
So that's pinned. So Clark is in there by himself. It's time for some fire and maneuver. So that was my fire. Now comes the maneuver part. VCON or NBA movement, which I've technically already started. Watching out for Captain Morgan. No line of sight because of trees and hill. And here comes an assault.
Now I get opportunity fire.
You get opportunity fire, none for Morgan. He couldn't see that. Clark got a little too anxious. He got a little too far ahead. So it's, now the pin guys obviously can't help. Clark can with his 1 weapon. My only slight beef here, my slight issue,
Line of sight.
is F4 technically blocks line of sight to F5 from Herkimer. Herkimer does. Now Herkimer does not see that. Herkimer doesn't see it. The gunship does because the gunship's at high altitude. So again, for people in the chat or for later on YouTube, Herkimer platoon to the northwest here does not get a line of fire because as you go from center of the hex to center of the hex, let me go ahead and straighten that out a little bit. You always measure. That's why there's a dot in the center of every hex. It does clip through F4, and F4 is considered a elevation 2 hex because its center dot is got hill graphics in it. So F4 does actually screen F5 from fire from this position. It does not screen him from Clark. Clark's going to fire, and Gianna has already declared a couple times that the Huey gunship up here to the northwest is at high altitude. So these intervening hilltop hex sides are no factor. She's like at 500 feet. She's way up high. She sees clearly over hilltop, hooches, everything. Is she in range though? Range of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are barely in range.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so which one do you want to do first?
We'll do the Huey first.
All right, Huey has 11 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I am opportunity fire in the open. That gives you a -1. I am not pinned down. Or not pinned down. That's not the word. Oh, I guess I should reveal what I'm doing here. That's all men. That's all meat. By that I mean casualty points. Okay, we have a total of 11 points, and you get to subtract 1 from your roll.
11 points, subtract 1.
2d6.
6.
6 becomes 5. 2 casualty points gone. I'm going to knock that full squad down to a half squad. That's my 4. Okay. Now we do Mr. Clark. He has a grand total of 2.
Big whopping 2.
Yep. So put you on the base column.
Come on, John Rambo. Does he get any modifiers as well?
Yeah, he gets the -1 because he's a commander.
Okay. And you're in the open?
Oh, yeah, true.
So -3?
Yep.
Okay. I rolled a natural 4, so a 1.
So, yeah, 5.
It's a 2.
Yeah, there's only 3 casualty points in there. Oh my god.
John Rambo!
There he goes. He beat that assault off by himself. He's yelling at his M60 crew. Are you guys? Can you guys unpin now, please? Oh, I forgot how powerful I made these guys. Holy crap! All right.